because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncers' guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Velas. Adam Morallee joins me on a very special day. Happy 30th, my friend. How are we?
30 plus 17, yeah. Cheers, Oscar.
What are you going to get up to on your birthday? Because obviously I can imagine, I guess tonight's for the celebrating, but you've actually got quite a big weekend because you've got two West Ham fighters. Fine.
Yeah, we've got Tommy Fletcher out Friday night and we've got Johnny out Saturday night, and I want to spend as much time as I can with both of them. So I'm going to see Johnny now, and then I'll be with Tommy Friday evening and Johnny Friday most of the day, and then Johnny Saturday. So yeah, I'm spending my birthday with two big fellas.
Spending your birthday with work clients, essentially. Yeah, exactly. Sounds fun. It is going to be a good weekend. Yeah. Just on Tommy first, there's kind of seems to be a little bit more interest than before now because there's been that back and forth, the thing with Alois, the sparring footage, and we know people love that sort of stuff. But for Tommy, I suppose it's just kind of laser focus on what he has to do and forget all of that for now. He's got a fight tomorrow night.
So he's got a fight, and he hasn't fought for a little while. Hasn't fought since late January when he fought on the Anthony Yard card. So he's really he's just got to knuckle down, get the job done tomorrow night, and then move ahead. But it's good. I think fans like a little bit of back and forth with prospects of a certain level. I mean, that's really what they want to see.
What do you think Tommy learnt from that night? Obviously, I can imagine the stage he was on, he would have had the intent to go out there, kind of wipe someone out, and everyone on ESPN and in America goes, wow, this is a superstar. I know things don't always play out like that. Exactly. Valuable rounds. What did he kind of learn coming away from that whole experience, you think?
Look, I think he learned a few things about variation, a few things about what you have to do to get a guy like that out of there, who's a very, very experienced, don't want to disrespect him, but effectively a journeyman, but someone who knows how to survive. He's one of the best survivors out there, Daryl Sharp. And I think he probably did learn that he does have to change things up a little bit. I think when he punches so hard that generally if he hits someone, they stay hit, they go down. And then when he comes across someone like that, I think it's a bit like when Daniel Dubois, faced Kevin Johnson early on in his career and realised he was up against someone who needed something a bit different. So I think Tommy will learn that. I think he was on prime time, BT, big card, 9 o'clock. I think he was a little bit disappointed that he didn't get the KO that night. But, there's a lot more to getting up the ranks in the professional game than simply just being a knockout artist. And certainly from my perspective as his manager, I want him to be learning and learning and learning as he goes. So I thought we got very valuable rounds in that fight.
Yeah, look forward to seeing Tommy tomorrow night. On Johnny, I just heard Mark Tibbs and Al Smith talking, just saying how much of a dream he is. He can fight, he can talk, done 2,000 tickets, and another big night on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Johnny had far less of an amateur background than Tommy Fletcher. And Johnny is the one who really is learning in the ring. So throughout this whole process, as people watch him develop and learn as a boxer, he himself is going to school. And so when we go for Johnny's opponents, we're really looking for people who, yes, we want him to look good. Of course, every promoter wants Johnny to look good, but we want him to learn as well. And I think this is for me a key, important learning fight against a southpaw. Not an easy fight. I mean, there are some British level guys who would have got more credit for fighting that this guy, Salas, is more difficult than. So after this fight, though, I really want to, got to focus on Saturday night. Johnny should be successful, but after that, I really want to see Johnny going for titles.
Yeah, because I was going to say, listening to a couple of things that Eddie's done in the last week or so, talking about this show, when he mentioned Johnny, I think it's the first time I've heard him specifically kind of say that he wants Johnny now sniffing around that level. And you look at the likes of Adelaide and Wardley and them sort of guys. So I think kind of that's the first time I've heard the title inkling around Johnny after this fight.
Yeah, I think you look at the British heavyweight scene now. You've got like the top guys, AJ, Fury. I would obviously say Joe Joyce in that bracket. Then you've got like Dillian White, Derek Chisora. And then you've got this really great group of heavyweights that are kind of assembling. And you saw the interest in Fraser Clark, Fabio Wardley. David Adelaide's in there. I would say Solomon Dakers is in there as well. I don't think Johnny himself right now would say he's in that four mix, but he's up and coming into that. And that's why I think that's a British title mix. Johnny Fisher should be going for a Southern Area title next.
Yeah, we'll look forward to another big night for Johnny and another loud night, I guess. You mentioned, Joe, I think Frank said it on TalkSport, September, the date for the rematch. How much is kind of, I'll say percentage-wise, how much is done for this Joyce rematch?
Yeah, 90-something percent, I'd say. 90-something percent. Very, very close to getting it done. Not done yet, but yeah, we're very, very close. Looking forward to announcing that soon.
Has Joe just been complete laser focus for the rematch? I know obviously people look at different options for Gilles, they look at different options for Joe, but it just seems like Joe's whole focus in this has been nothing other than righting that wrong.
I saw something the other day, someone forwarded me something the other day that said Joe was initially not keen on the rematch. Completely untrue. Joe wanted the rematch pretty much from 2 days after the loss. And we spoke to Queensberry, have been fantastic throughout. And, that's why we had the rematch clause in there. We wanted the rematch, we got it, we executed the clause. And yeah, the whole preparation, the whole focus since we exercised the rematch clause has been on the rematch.
Do you think, and this might sound like a bit of a stupid question, not that it could work in the favour of Joe, he wanted to win that night, we all know that, but do you think having this defeat, coming back, looking 10 times better, and potentially, say, stopping Fury-Zhang, could kind of work in his favour, a bit of a development thing, I guess, taking the defeat, and then coming back, and just say he does blitz Zhang, he does stop Zhang, everyone turns around again and goes, wow.
Look, I think Joe, his whole career, he's had people who like him, people who didn't like him, and I think he really turned those kind of doubters into believers after the Parker fight. But I think some of those people that believed in him after the Parker fight, then when they saw the Fury-Zhang result, were like, no, I was right first time. He's stiff, he's slow, he's not very good. If and when he does do a job on Fury-Zhang in the rematch, I don't know what that section of the population will think, but from a managerial perspective, losing allows you to interrogate things and go into different things in much greater detail. So, for example, if Joe hadn't have injured his eye in that fight, had got through to 12 rounds, got a kind of tough decision, we wouldn't be interrogating every single aspect of what he's done in the way we have. So I think we may see the benefit of the loss later down the line when he fights, say, an Usyk or a Fury.
I know you said he was keen 2 days after the rematch. Was there ever kind of any talks around Tyson Fury? I know he expressed perhaps a little bit more of an interest than he had before Tyson, post-defeat for Joe. And obviously we know he's looking for an opponent. Was there ever any interest between taking a fight with Tyson Fury at all?
I think if Joe had won, I think Fury-Joyce at that point would have been very interesting. I don't think Tyson would really be that interested in fighting Joe Joyce coming off a loss. Doesn't look great for him. I think there was talk, I'll be honest, there was talk of Fury fighting Zhang and the concept of what would happen to Joe in that, but we were very clear with Queensberry and they backed us. They backed us. They could easily have not backed us. They backed us and they said, Joe wants the rematch, Joe's getting the rematch. So there was talk about that, but I think Fury-Joyce is a tremendous fight, but I think Joe really needs to do a job on Zhang to get that fight.
Obviously, there is a little bit of a mess kind of at the top now, this whole Saudi Arabia thing and now offers and not offers with Joshua White in August. What do you kind of make of the whole situation, I suppose, of the last week?
Look, it's challenging. All the guys want fights. Tyson Fury really, really wants to fight, but there's only a limited number of opponents he can really go up against. I think you look at it from Anthony Joshua's perspective, they're all talking about Saudi Arabia and big money over there. Him v Deontay Wilder's a huge fight. Personally, I think the fight that should have happened is Fury-AJ in Britain. I think that would have been a brilliant fight. I think both fighters, if they lost, and I'd probably favour Fury in that one, could go on and have other fights. I think AJ, Wilder, there's loads of ways in which that fight could end. AJ could concussively knock out Wilder, but one outcome of that fight leads to AJ Fury not being that interesting afterwards. So I think everyone wants to see Fury-AJ. It's a shame that hasn't happened. What do I think is going to happen? I think Usyk signed with Skill Challenge. I think Fury-Usyk is the undisputed fight that's going to happen. I think it's going to happen in Saudi towards the end of the year.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,